Ready?
Ready?
Welcome back to the watch party.
Hey guys.
Love is Blind, season 7, part 2.
Which is
episodes. Apparently we covered episodes 1 through 6 instead of 1 through 4 because
we got a little carried away.
We're unhinged. So we're going to do 6-ish, whatever we didn't pick up there, through 9. And then actually the new episodes dropped today. So
yes, so we'll watch those and then so we haven't watched them. We don't know what happens in
10 and 11.
Yeah.
Do they only drop 2?
Yes. Very annoyed.
Well, then how am I supposed to know what's going on?
I know. Then the finale and then the reunion.
When is the finale? When does the finale drop?
The finale is next week. We're
Oh
doing
my
a whole week.
God.
Oh my God. I think I have I don't know if it's gone. I'm looking do you remember Shayna from episode 2 or season 2?
Oh my God. I saw a glow up of Shane.
He looks great.
He does.
I was worried for him for a while.
Yeah.
And he has a hat you can buy or something.
I can picture it. It's green and tan.
Yes. Was it Move the Needle?
Yes, that's what it is.
The needle, just like Steven's boner.
Okay. So let's get back on track then.
Yeah. Okay.
Episode 6. Let's do it.
I think kind of where we're picking up is like the Tim and Alex fight situation. This is after they all get back from the couples get together, which we did talk about.
Yeah.
But then we're just like, boom, it's the next morning.
Yeah. And I still don't really understand what they were fighting about.
Nobody does, I don't think.
Oh.
Because they don't.
I just thought maybe I blacked out and missed it.
No, they never go over it. So it's just all of a sudden you're like...
Everyone's drinking. Everyone's having fun. We're meeting everyone. Everything's great. Hunky-dory. And then bam.
Yeah, they seemed fine at the party. And then the next morning he's like, your attitude changed. You seemed upset or something or cold. And she's like, oh, I was just tired or I wanted to go home or something. I don't remember. And then he's like, okay.
She was like, I needed space and you wouldn't give me space or something. I don't know.
Something. And then
it was weird.
Then he's like, yeah, well, you were calling me every name but my own and all this stuff. And remember, she did say at one point that she had anger problems, that she used to have anger problems. I don't think they're old. And then she was like, well, it didn't help when I covered your mouth. And I'm like,
yeah, girl, it most certainly did not. You can't just
help.
You can't just run around and people.
Can you imagine? Oh my God, I'm telling you.
You're going to die.
There is something there. Can you see it?
No. Can't. Come here.
I'm trying to see it with my other eye. I feel like there's God.
That's the worst.
It's bothering me so much.
Okay. When he comes back in and they're sitting on the couch and they're talking whatever, he says, I fully expected to come back in and this be our last conversation ever. And in my mind, I was like, you get in one argument and we're just dunsies.
And she definitely acts like the aggressor and that she needs to make up for it. Because she's like, will you come back? Because he stayed at a different room or whatever. Will you come back? I did not like that she was like, do you want me to get close to you, hug you, or whatever? And he's like, not right now. And then she just gets close and gets touching him anyway. He just said no. You asked him and he said no.
Yeah.
So that's a boundary.
All right.
Then everybody goes on their little dates or whatever. And I just wrote down that Tyler and Ashley are talking about what they're going to do on holidays with their kids. And I was like,
Tyler and Ashley talking about kids. Interesting.
Then Monica brings up to Steven that he had said that he would buy her flowers when they were in the pods.
Okay. Monica.
Okay.
You're on vacation, girl. He's only been with you for 24 hours. Give that man a minute.
Yes. And that was my initial reaction too. But then he said, well, I meant flowers is a concept. And then he's like, well, I was really poor growing up. And so I didn't even get any gifts. And I don't even remember getting a Christmas gift anytime in the last 10 years or whatever. And she's like, okay. And he's like, but I know that I wouldn't have to get you expensive stuff like Kate Spade. And she's like, Kate Spade, you think that's expensive? She's a designer girly.
She is. And I'm not.
That's so cute that you think Kate Spade is expensive.
I mean, on the spectrum of expensive things, Kate Spade is low, mid to low.
Yeah.
When you think of the full spectrum.
The whole
thing. However, It's not cheap.
It's not cheap.
It's not cheap.
So he's an electrician and he doesn't know any of that stuff, but
he's a little blue collar boy. He's the only one, I think.
I think so.
And
which is unusual for them.
It is unusual, and it's unfortunate because he's trash.
I know.
Fucking Steven.
It's like our first representation of real regular
life.
People.
Yeah.
And
they're trashing it for us.
I mean,
big
come
time.
on. Then there's another like party with everybody, and Alex seems like she's talking to the girls, and she's like, okay, so this fight happened with Tim, and she's like in the middle of spilling the beans, and then they shoot fireworks off, and I'm like,
who is editing this show? Because I know you have the footage. I know you do.
What happened? We don't know what happened. So she's like in the middle of it, and they're like, oh my gosh, look at these fireworks. And then Alex is like, yeah, we should go look at them. And then we never come back to it.
We've all seen fireworks. You know what? I'm going to learn professional video editing specifically so I can apply for a job on Love is Blind. And you know what you're going to get? No editing. I'm showing you everything. Because we need to know.
And at least you won't be one of those weird editors who likes to zoom in on everybody's feet. Have you noticed that they do a lot of feet shots, and I'm just like,
maybe they're trying out OnlyFans, you know?
Possibly.
Just feet reels.
But everybody gets up to go watch them, and Monica gets up to go watch them too, and then Steven does not go watch with Monica.
Yeah, because he's having a deep conversation with Garrett. Mm-hmm. Okay, what was that deep conversation? Guess what? We don't know.
We don't know. But everybody watches the fireworks. They come back. Steven didn't go, and Monica's like, that was so romantic, you watching the fireworks with me. She's very upset about it.
Which I thought was kind of, like, I get it, but also, like, I feel like she's making it a bigger deal than it should have been.
He comes back, and she's sitting at the table, obviously upset with him, and she's sitting at the table with Taylor, and he comes over, and he's trying to, like, make amends, and his olive branch is a fucking sparkling water. And he's like, I brought you a sparkling water. Do you like those? And she's like, no, I don't like those, but I'll drink it. And I'm like...
Okay, but he's trying. To me, I felt like he's trying, and you could have said, no, I don't like that. Would you mind bringing me something else? Because I'm pretty sure in that he said, I'll go get you something else.
Maybe he did. I don't know.
But in that moment, I did feel like Monica was hard on him unnecessarily. Yeah. And like as it progresses, though, I don't feel like you were hard on him enough. He's trash, and I stand by that.
Yeah.
But in the moment, I was trying to be on his team a little bit.
But then he says, he's like, you know, well, I was talking to Garrett, and you know, Garrett, he's a physicist, and he's got to get it out in his brain or it. Oh, I'm like,
his brain works different than mine.
Then he starts going on this thing about how they were talking, and he was like, yeah, I'm telling Garrett, you know, all these homewreckers are going to come out of the woodwork and want to
be in our DMs.
Yeah, send us DMs. Like, I want to suck your dick. I want to suck your dick because we've been in the spotlight and we've been on TV. And Monica's face is like, she's like, what is happening right now? Like,
and Taylor's face was like, what?
Like, who's coming out of the woodworks for your dick? I don't understand. Like,
it was very confusing.
I'm getting some French fries by. Like, she gets up and she leaves.
She bails hard.
And Taylor's like, fighting for my life out here. Like,
she was stuck.
What are you doing? So that was that. Yeah. And then they go back to DC. So now we're 21 days until Brolop.
21 days to Brolop.
Hannah and Nick are talking, and she's like, am I have to tell you what to do? Are you the kind of guy that just does shit, or am I going to have to tell you what to do all the time?
That's exactly what her face looks like, actually. That face. She does this
all the time.
All the time.
And then she's like, well, he's like, do you think you're more mature than me? And she's like, yeah, and I'm more intelligent. And
so humble, too. Sure. But while we're talking about Nick and Hannah, we have to talk about one of our listeners today posted, Sia, shout out to you, girl, posted a side-by-side of Nick and Gypsy Rose. And now I can't unsee it.
And there are similarities. Garrett and Taylor, there's not really a whole lot to talk about with them.
Because they're cruising.
Yeah, they're cruising. But he does show her his Instagram, and it's all fish pics because he likes to go spear fishing. Yeah. And then he's like, but you're the greatest catch of them all.
I know. Was it not like so cheesy and cute?
Like, you.
You're like, I love to hate it.
Middle class Chris Evans, you.
Okay, but when... I died when they said that because I can kind of see it.
No.
100%.
Big time, I can see it. Like,
and I never thought that, though, until she said it.
No, I already was thinking it. I was like, this guy kind of looks like Chris Evans.
I did not get Chris Evans. Yeah. Do you know Chris Evans got married?
To who?
a girl.
Good for him. Ashley and Tyler also very in sync.
For now.
Garrett and Taylor have the first family meeting, and Taylor fucking kills it.
Oh my God, she was perfect.
His mom was like very worried, very concerned, like all this stuff. And she just like does this whole thing about like, we've agreed that, we're just going to like keep talking to each other, stay open with things. Like we're going to do what we can to make it work and like blah, blah, blah. And I don't know. She
handles it like a champ.
She freaking handles it. All right. Marissa and Ramses. They have this like dinner thing when she gets home from school and he cooks the dinner and the noodles are not even close to being done.
She calls them al dente.
Al dente.
Yes,
and he's
does.
like, what's that? And she's like, when they're not all the way done. Al dente.
I thought it was al dente.
It's just al dente.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. But then they get into this whole thing about, like, they talk about religion first, and then they talk about the military. He keeps bringing up, well, she brings it up all the time because she's, like, proud of it, and she was in the military or whatever. And she was in it for a while, and I think it seems like she grew up with it, too. I forget.
I think so. But before we carry this conversation further, let us all remember, this is not the first time that she's brought this up to him.
No.
She was very open about it in the pods. She was very open about how proud she was of her service, how she loved, everything she did, and blah, 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 blah.
Yes. So
this is not news to Ramses. Okay, but Ramses is from Venezuela.
Yeah, he's like, I've seen the other side of it.
I've seen the other side of what happens when the U.S. military comes in and blah, blah, blah. And like all very, very valid points. But again, you knew this about her already.
Yes.
And so the fact that you're making it an issue now is an issue for me. Because why did we not talk through this to begin with?
Yeah, and they're like, well, okay, so if she joined the reserves or if she re-enlisted, would that be immediate divorce for you? And he was like, yeah.
And it's like that whole conversation to me was just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the editing. Maybe it wasn't out of nowhere, but it was very just like blindsiding. And she took it all in stride. Like she was very like okay about it. Because if I were her, I would have been sitting there like,
are you? Yeah.
Who are you?
Yeah. Like, well,
where did this come from?
That's information that would have been helpful yesterday. Like Adam Sandler and The Wedding Singer.
Once again, things that could have been brought to my attention yesterday.
Oh, yes. Oh, God, I love that movie.
Come on. It's such a great movie. Ashley and Tyler are talking about wedding planning, and he says he wants to be really involved in the wedding planning, and he's like, I also really want to, like, I want to name the kids. And she's like...
Again, talking about kids.
And she's like, no, not all the kids. And she's like, what about you name the boys? And he's like, okay. And I'm like...
girl.
In addition to the other kids that you probably named. Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, listen, we'll get there.
Steven takes Monica to a flower pressing thing.
To get her flowers.
And
honestly, I thought it was kind of cute.
But Monica, I felt like was really, did you notice this? She was like, I think mine's prettier. Like, and they actually hold them up. And the girl that did the class for them said that she liked the composition of his better or something like that. Or the color scheme. And Monica's like, I think mine's prettier. Like, she just kept talking about, but don't you think mine's prettier? And I'm like, why do you care so much? Yeah, like, okay, great. Yours is great. Like, whatever. But then Monica says that her dad doesn't want to take part in the whole Love is Blind experience because he doesn't support it, blah, blah, blah. And she said her dad was like, well, how do you know this guy isn't a liar like your last boyfriend?
Okay, but honestly,
your dad.
How do you know, girl?
Your dad needs to.
Your dad needed to be on the show.
Nick and Hannah. Nick still lives with his parents in the basement.
Yes, he does.
Hannah is absolutely fucking disgusted. But
it's important.
It was also funny because they're down in the basement, and she's like, "How long have you lived here in the basement?" He's like, "Around like I'm not thinking like about 2 years or whatever." She's like, "Okay, where'd you live before that?" And he was like,
"Upstairs."
Oh my God.
Precious little Nick.
And it's fine. If you live with your parent, like, save the money.
I mean, but honestly, in this economy.
Okay, Tim and Alex do the meeting with her family.
Yeah.
If you did not cry during that, you are f***ing dead.
Well, I didn't cry because I'm not a crier, but I did watch it and I had feelings. It sparked a little...
Feelings that if you could cry, you would?
Yeah.
Okay. Tim, when he proposed to Alex, he had read her a letter, but it was addressed to her dad.
Oh,
so
my God,
he read the letter to the dad.
Yeah.
And the dad was like crying, and he was so,
I know.
and he was like, I accept you as my son, and it was so sweet.
It was so sweet, which makes me very worried for Tim and Ashley. Alex. God dang it.
You're so bad with names.
I'm so bad with names. I'm sorry.
Taylor wants Garrett to move to San Diego after they get married, and he's like, okay.
I know. He was just like, sure, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I think that was something she was very nervous about. But Garrett handles everything in stride. Like, he's just like, whatever we got to do to make this work.
Right now,
I'm going to be furious.
So upset. Steven, I guess, like, gets a message that he's, like, lost his job or something. And then Monica's like, that's fine. I'll just pay for everything. Don't worry about that. But then they have this conversation about, she's like, well, the reason we're not having sex is because of the reservations that you said you had. And then he was like, I don't know, this is just a lot. And like, I'm just having like, he says second thoughts, I think. And she's like, hang on a second. What second thoughts? And he's like, I didn't say that. You said that. And she's like, no, I think you just said second thoughts.
See, I can't be on a reality show because I'd be like, roll the footage. Bring it back.
Bring it back. Roll it back. Yeah, because you've literally got somebody there.
Yeah.
You'd be like, Trevor, whatever the camera guy's name
Trevor.
is.
Every cameraman forever now is Trevor. Trevor? Playback.
And then he takes that opportunity to talk about just sex stuff, and he goes like Forrest Gump on it and lists all the different things you can stick your dick in, including a bowl of macaroni and cheese.
Well, Cardi B talks about that too.
Really?
Yeah. In the WAP song.
Does she really?
Yeah.
That song embarrasses me. I can't listen to it.
She talks about macaroni in a pot.
Macaroni in a pot, that's some wet and gushy.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm such a child. Like, I say a lot of words, but the P word I can't do. I cannot do it.
The P word?
Yeah, I can't.
I don't like that word either.
Okay. It makes me very nervous.
Wait, are you talking about penis? Or the other one? The lady P.
Penis, we say in our house
I was like,
10,000 times a day.
I have a son and a husband. We talk about penises.
Penis is a
nonstop.
Lot. Yeah, no, the other one. I can't say it. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's a P word. I can't say it.
I'm just going to call it the lady P.
I like that. I like that better. Our Lady P.
Our Lady P.
Then he talks about getting a Nobel Peace Prize for being the first man with a legit vagina.
I don't remember that.
What? He was like, yeah, what if I was the first man who had an actual vagina and he would like get a Nobel Peace Prize because of his research or something? I don't know.
Yeah. Is this the part where she is like, are you well?
I can't remember.
She asked him at one point, she's like, are you unwell?
Maybe this was it because
I can't remember.
Yeah, it definitely goes too far. It was very strange.
Yeah.
Tyler meets Ashley's dad. It goes super well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Monica and Steven completely implode.
Okay, Monica and Steven, let's talk about it. I have a lot of questions. So he supposedly goes to do a sleep test, and she finds messages on his phone the next morning between him and some mystery woman who slid into his DMs, allegedly. So he wasn't lying about... Yep. Well,
apparently.
Maybe. But what really struck me about the whole thing was she's like, how do I even know you were at a sleep test, right? And he says, I'm sorry that I was sending drunk messages while I was at this sleep test. And I was like, hold on. You got drunk for a sleep test? Like that?
They wouldn't let you do the test.
I was like, I don't think that's how that works.
Absolutely not. And then she's like, well, but you were texting her today too. And he's like,
no,
what?
I wasn't.
Was I? No, I don't remember doing that. And she's like, get out your phone. And he's like,
oh, I deleted that.
I actually deleted the message. She's like,
of course you did.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
But it was funny because like Taylor and Garrett were there. Mm-hmm. And she's sitting on the couch talking to Taylor and she's crying or whatever. And then Steven's just like bumbling around in the background getting like bottled water. I was like, he's still there.
I was like, happening? I saw somebody in the background and I was like, is that Steven?
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
Ashley and Tyler are talking about how many kids they want and he suggests 6.
Oh, I thought he said 7.
Maybe 7.
So but what he did,
additional 3 or 4.
I know. What I was going to say is he fails to mention that he's already got 3.
Yeah. Like he wasn't like 3 or 4 more is what I mean.
Yeah.
Hannah's brother comes over for dinner. And Hannah is very rude to Nick the whole time. And then Hannah is just like being so mean to him. And Nick finally says something like, don't you like not have a job? And she's like, that was too far, Nick. And then she gets up and walks out, and Nick and her brother Kate are talking, and he's like, that's my problem with her too. Like, she gives it and gives it and gives it, and then you try to give it back to her. Yeah, and that's too far, and then she's upset with you and all that kind of stuff. We see Tim's place, and I think he calls it his doghouse. It's really nice. It's really well put together. It's actually like decorated and shit.
Yeah.
And Alex
I was impressed.
I was really impressed. And Alex is like, we're going to have to do something about this couch.
And when you see her house,
I could not.
Ma'am.
I could not.
Have a seat.
Okay. Marissa's family meets Ramses.
Okay. I have feelings about Marissa's mom.
Tell us everything, because what a mess. She was definitely very like...
She was intense. I did love that she was like, I don't like your hair. I don't like your style. I don't like your outfit. You got an 80s Jerry curl. I hate it. I hate everything about it. And
she's
I was like,
your fashion is off.
Yeah. I was like, okay. But also I was like, ma'am, you were like 50 something years old with a tongue ring. Like, I don't think I need advice from you.
Yeah.
I like Marissa. I don't like Ramses. But in that moment, I was like, Ramses, run for your life.
I know. They meet Hannah's parents. They're precious.
They are.
They also put her in her place. When Nick goes to the bathroom, she's like, I don't know. There's just like, because her mom is like, you seem mad, Hannah. Like, what's going on?
They tell her nobody's going to be perfect. Mm-hmm. And she's just like not willing to accept that, I don't think. I think of all of the men, aside from Garrett, like, he's making the most effort, like the most what appears at this point to be genuine effort.
Yeah. Then we see Alex's house. And what the was she talking about Tim's house for?
Alex.
At one point she says, do you see those trash bags? There's like 50 of them.
Which one?
I know.
And she's like, I know that I'm a hoarder. I'm a fashion hoarder. Okay. That's still a hoarder.
You can't see her floor. You can't see her bed. You can't see where her couch begins and ends.
No.
It's like this episode. There's an episode of Friends. It's like older where Ross is dating. I think his girlfriend is played by Rebecca Romaine at that time, Stamos.
Yeah.
But her house is filthy.
Yeah. But she's like super hot.
But she's super hot.
He's okay with it.
So they're like at her house and they're making out or whatever, and they're laying on the couch, and he lifts his hand up and it's just like sticky gunk all over it. And like they find a ferret in like a trash bag and he thinks it's a mouse and tries to get it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
That's what her house looked like. And I was like, oh my gosh.
I know. I was like, Alex, I don't want to hear
his couch?
I don't want to hear not one word from you about interior design or cleanliness. Not one word.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay, now this is where Ramses is dead to me.
All right, let's talk about it.
Dead to me. They're talking about their timeline of when they're going to have kids.
Yes.
And he doesn't want to have kids for like, what do you say, like 5 more years or something like that. And Marissa's like, then we might need to think about condoms.
Yeah. Well, and she also says, I'm 32. I don't want to start having children when I'm 37. Very valid. Mm-hmm. And she says, I have thought about it. I don't really want to get on birth control, which for some women, birth control can be very like disruptive to their body, to their life, like all kinds of things, right? So for her to say, I don't want to get on it, and him to say, okay, well, I'm not going to wear condoms. I was just like...
And he's like, I expect sex to feel good, and it's not going to feel good with a condom. First of all, erroneous.
On both counts.
And he was so
adamant about it.
Well, I'm just not doing that. I'm just not going to do that. Like that, you just need to get on birth control.
And he tried to spin it back like, would you enjoy that? And she's like, actually, yeah, I've had like some of the best sex I've had. The guy was wearing a condom, whatever.
All right. And then the last scene of episode 9, Ashley and Tyler are talking.
Again,
we're in the middle of
we're in it. We're past the pods. We're past it. We're living together. We've met each other's families.
Like, he met her dad.
Uh-huh.
Met her dad.
Uh-huh.
And had all these, like, I'm going to protect her. I love her. I'm going to take care of her every day. And then she's like, you didn't tell me you have children. And he doesn't defend or anything. Yeah, no. He doesn't really say anything.
Does it say how she found out?
No.
I don't remember.
So we don't know how she found out. I don't know if he finally told her or if somebody else told her.
Somebody slid up in her DMs and was like, hey, girl, that's my baby daddy.
Yeah.
Well, what he says is, well, I was a sperm donor. Knowing what we know from social media now, she asks him, do they know you? Do they know what you look like? You know, whatever. And he's like, no, I don't think so. So as of episode 9, she knows this. They're going to continue to try to work through this. That might be part of what's in episode 10.
Okay.
But they're still together.
Yikes.
When the episode ends. Well, love is not blind. Or is it? We will see next time, I guess. Because next time, I'm very excited. The teaser is that all of the extras are coming back.
Ooh,
so Bodhi's coming back.
Marissa and Bodhi.
Yeah. I do too, especially after Ramses was like, I'm not wearing condoms and I hate the military. And it's a 1920s themed party. So, yeah, girl.
That's cute.
If we don't get a little Thomas Shelby action, I'm going to be so upset.
Oh, my God.
I need a Peaky Blinders moment.
Mm-hmm. And then he could, you know.
Switchblade him?
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever that is.
With the hats.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be awesome.
All right.
So we'll see.
We'll see. We'll
catch you next time.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.